You ever feel like life's got you by the ankles, just holding you upside down and shaking till the change falls out of your pockets? That's exactly what I thought the day I found half my life dumped out on my own front lawn like yesterday's trash. And the real kicker? All of it started because we believed in the so-called American dream. Yeah, that happened. Let me back up a sec. I still remember the day Emily and I first stepped into what we'd call our forever home. That place wasn't just property, it was the sum of 1,000 small sacrifices. We'd lived frugal for nearly a decade, skipped vacations, worked second jobs, wore shoes down to the sole, just to finally close on that modest one-story stucco house east of San Diego. It had white shutters, a porch swing, and a lemon tree out back that made Emily tear up the moment she saw it swaying in the breeze. We bought with every dollar we had and every hope we could scrape together. You want to know why we picked that street? Simple. No HOA. I'd seen what those neighborhood tyrants could do, measuring grass with a ruler, telling folks what color to paint their mailbox, and I swore I'd never pay a dime to anybody who thought they owned me just because we shared a zip code. We made sure. Our realtor even bragged, no HOA here, no drama, no hidden strings. I should have known better, right? Those first few months were golden. We painted the house ourselves. Emily up on the ladder, me holding my breath like she was walking a tightrope over a canyon. We put in new floors, wired up smart lights, turned the garage into a combo workshop and game den. Our kids claimed the cul-de-sac for their own, building Lego kingdoms in the living room, and we'd have random wine nights on the porch just because we could. It was peace. For 3 months, I thought I'd finally outrun the kind of trouble that always seems to find me. Then came the letter. No postage. Just a folded paper jammed in between grocery flyers. Notice of noncompliance. Unpaid assessments. HOA. I about spit out my coffee. I figured it was some mistake. Our house wasn't in any association, and I sure as hell hadn't signed up to pay almost $2,000 for some mysterious dues. The paper threatened liens, had a QR code, and read like it was written by someone who'd failed their people skills class. I laughed, tossed it in the junk drawer, and moved on. But you ever get that itch? Like something's wrong, but you can't put your finger on it. So that night I checked county records. Nope, no HOA, no encumbrances deed, was clean as a whistle. Still, I took photos of the letter mailbox, the whole 9 yards. Maybe some neighbor was on a power trip playing pretend president. Whatever, we let it slide. Next weekend, we packed up for a little mountain getaway. Nothing fancy, just a couple nights in Julian with apple pie and spotty cell service. We locked up, set the alarm, and drove off. Emily grinning beside me, kids knocked out in the back seat. Last thing I saw in the rearview mirror was our porch swing swaying in the wind, looking as peaceful as a Sunday morning. Well, peace didn't last. We pulled back into the driveway Sunday afternoon, and right away something felt off. The welcome mat was gone. There were blue storage bins littering the lawn boxes, bags. Even our patio chairs, scattered like a tornado, had thrown a garage sale and forgot to invite us. My heart just stopped. Emily jumped out barefoot, calling, "Is that our stuff?" And it was. Our holiday boxes, cracked open snow globes twinkling in the sunlight, one of the kids' stuffed animals face down in the grass. That's when the front door opened. Some guy in a tank top comes out holding a box labeled kitchen like it was his prize at the state fair. Behind him, a woman in yoga pants and a messy bun and 2 gum-popping teenagers. The man squinted at us like we were the trespassers. "Can I help you?" he asked, all casual. I just stared, pulse pounding. "Help me? What are you doing in my house?" He crossed his arms. "Maybe you should talk to your HOA. We just signed a lease. Got the keys from the president herself, Karen something or other." For a second, I actually thought I was losing my mind. Emily gasped. The woman shrugged. "We paid first and last month's rent. Handover was yesterday." The guy smirked. "Maybe you got foreclosed on." I was ready to swing. Instead, Emily stepped between us, pleading, "John, call the police." The rest is a blur, shouting, shoving the other woman, speed dialing Karen, my kids crying in the car. 10 minutes later, the police showed up, and so did Karen herself. She pulls up in a Lexus wearing a blindingly pink blazer, sunglasses like satellite dishes, and a clipboard thicker than a legal textbook. She breezes over, fake smile plastered on. "You must be Mr. Ramirez. There's been some confusion." "No kidding, lady." She starts spouting HOA bylaws claiming we owe assessments and they've reclaimed the property for non-payment, even though our deed is clean and our address was never in any HOA. The police asked for paperwork. I showed them our title and closing docs. Karen couldn't produce a single court order, just kept talking circles around everyone. In the end, nobody got arrested, but everyone had to leave until things were verified. Karen leaned in and hissed, "You better lawyer up, Mr. Ramirez. You're going to need it." And in that moment, I realized we'd just been mugged, legally in broad daylight. That night, Emily and I slept on an air mattress, our kids huddled close. The house feeling less like a home and more like a crime scene. By morning, I started documenting every scratch and dent. But as I unpacked boxes, it got worse. Stuff was missing. My watches. Emily's jewelry, family heirlooms gone. Emily found her mother's necklace case empty and just broke down. I drove straight to the police station, filed a report, handed over every receipt and photo I could dig up. That's when the next bomb dropped, a certified letter. The family who'd tried to move in was now suing us for emotional distress and property damage, demanding $30,000. And the HOA, they joined in, accused us of unlawful interference and violating community reassignment policy. I laughed, but it wasn't funny. Suddenly, our phones blew up with blocked calls, threatening voicemails, people warning us not to fight the HOA. County records still showed us as owners. The woman at the clerk's office even sighed, "You're not the first, Mr. Ramirez. Keep everything documented." That night, something in me snapped. I stopped pretending this was just a mix-up. I started digging. 2 days later, Officer Brenner called. "We recovered some of your stolen items from a pawn shop," he said. Emily and I drove down, hands shaking, and there it was, her jewelry box, my dad's watch, her mother's necklace. Security footage showed the woman who'd tried to move into our house selling the stuff, wearing sunglasses and a hoodie. Rookie mistake, her car's plate gave her away. She was arrested for burglary and theft and claimed Karen handed her the keys directly. Now the DA was investigating Karen too. We added everything to our lawsuit, and within hours, Karen's lawyer called twice. We didn't pick up. Next thing, Karen shows up at our door looking like she hadn't slept in a week. "Please, I can fix this. Just drop the charges," she pleaded. I shut the door in her face. The next day, she was back screaming and banging on the door, threatening lawsuits and accusing us of ruining her life. I filmed the whole meltdown, called the cops, and she got served with a restraining order. She stood in the street, face red, hands shaking, yelling, "You're starting a war, you can't win." And honestly, that's when I realized this wasn't just about us. Karen had built herself a little empire of fear, and we were about to knock it down. After that, things escalated. The HOA started sending us bills, $4,000 for legal costs, a cease and desist for defamation, screenshots of my Facebook post calling Karen a tumor. Okay, that part was kind of funny. Then came a bill for $12,000 in back dues from an association we never joined. My lawyer just said, "Keep it all. Don't react." But the intimidation got real. One morning, Emily found all our drawers flipped. Nothing missing, just proof someone had been inside. No broken locks, no open windows. That night, I changed every lock, added motion sensors, even bought a baseball bat. 3 nights later, I woke to glass breaking, someone running through the backyard, motion lights blazing. Police found a truck registered to the woman's husband parked 2 blocks away with gas cans inside. He'd tried to burn our house down. He was arrested for attempted arson, and the DA stacked on the charges. The real twist came when the DA called Karen was under investigation for fraud, forgery, conspiracy. Ours wasn't her first rodeo. Turns out 3 other families had quietly suffered the same reclamation scam. With our case blowing up, they finally spoke out. The judge froze all HOA accounts, suspended Karen, and we went to court. The courtroom smelled like sweat, old paper, and nervous hope. Our lawyer laid out everything: fake notices, forged liens documents, never filed with the county phony notary, stamps, all of it tied to Karen. Even a former board member testified she ran the HOA like a dictatorship, bullied anyone who disagreed, and faked meeting minutes to justify her power plays. Karen's defense: just a misunderstanding. The jury wasn't buying it. When it was over, the HOA was hit with a $680,000 judgment. Karen was removed, her assets frozen, and as the courtroom emptied, deputies took her away. She ended up pleading out to 2 years in prison, and the HOA, rotten to the core, collapsed. A court trustee dissolved it for good. Our neighbors started coming out of the woodwork telling stories of how they'd been bullied but were too scared to speak up. That fear was gone now. 6 months later, our house was finally quiet. No more threats, no more lurking cars, just the sound of the wind in the lemon tree and our kids laughing on their bikes. We rebuilt. Not everything could be replaced, but the peace that was priceless. One Saturday, we threw a barbecue for the neighborhood. People showed up who'd avoided us for months. Everyone sharing old war stories about Karen and her little HOA mafia. As the sun dipped low, a drone buzzed overhead and dropped a white envelope right onto our lawn. Inside, resident reminder: your mailbox color is not in compliance with community standards. Emily laughed so hard she cried. I tossed that letter on the grill and watched it burn right next to the hot dogs. You ever been through something like this? When the people meant to protect your community turn into your worst nightmare? Tell me, where do you draw the line between justice and revenge? Drop your story in the comments. Let's hear if you ever had to stand up and fight for your own home. And if you're dealing with an HOA nightmare yourself, just remember, sometimes the only way to win is to stand your ground and make them wish they'd never picked a fight in the first place.